Hi guys, this is your instructor, Professor Purwar here. In this video, I want to talk about our syllabus for this class, Engineering Dynamics. Now, as you know, this is a completely online class, so the syllabus actually in its length reflects that you need to know a lot of information as to how the class will be conducted, and I'm pretty sure many of you have this question, especially if you have never taken an online class before, as to how the lectures would be delivered, how you'll be submitting the homework assignments, how you'll be graded, and what kind of technology and tools you'll be needing to successfully navigate this class. So in the beginning of the syllabus, you have information about me, my phone number, my email address, and email is always the best way to get in touch with me, especially if you have a personal question to ask me for any technical question. As I have said in the syllabus, in the Blackboard overview video, you should post your questions on Piazza rather than emailing it to me. Course goal. The course goals for this class are, fairly straightforward. It's engineering dynamics is really the study of forces and the motion and their relationship with each other. And we study this relationship for the particles, which are basically idealized rigid bodies, as well as rigid bodies themselves, which are idealized from, physical objects which can potentially deform. Course description, we will be talking about kinematics and kinetics. Kinematics is geometry of motion. Kinetics is where we bring kinematics as well as the Newton's laws and Newton-Raphson equation together to study the behavior of the systems. The course purpose, well, you can read it over here, so I'm not going to go through this, but I assume that everybody has taken an engineering statics class before at Stony Brook. That's MEC260 with a grade of C or higher. If you are coming from another school, perhaps engineering statics is called something else, but as long as you have taken a class where you learn how to do a static equilibrium analysis of the forces and the moments, you can write the vectors, you can play with them, that is to add them, subtract them, take the dot product and the cross product, you should be okay. There are several course learning outcomes for this class. Essentially, the course learning outcomes are the student outcomes. Essentially, what we are saying is that by the end of this class, you should be able to do these kinds of things, like determine the position, velocity, and acceleration of a particle, as well as system of particles in different coordinate systems, so Cartesian, polar, and normal tangential coordinate system. Similarly, we have other course learning outcomes that relate to the kinetics of the particle, as well as the kinetics and kinematics of rigid bodies, mostly moving in a plane. This particular table is something that tells you basically how each of these CLOs, the course learning outcomes, are related to the assessment tools that we would have. So let's say we want to assess whether you have satisfied one of the course learning outcomes, CLO1, then quiz and exams will basically be the assessment tools for us to determine whether you have really learned that topic very well or not. And these relate to the ABET student outcomes. As you know, Stony Brook University Mechanical Engineering Department is an ABET accredited department, which means that we have to fulfill the ABET student outcomes as well. And we have to show that each of these CLOs link to certain student outcomes. Each of these CLOs also link to a particular module. You can see that module 1 is not mentioned over here because it's mostly an introductory module, not that much of technical stuff in there. So it starts basically with module 2, going on to until module 9. So each of these CLOs map to one of the modules. And as I discussed before in the Blackboard overview video, each module can be thought of as a collection of videos, video lectures, as well as the PDF or slide notes, and quizzes and the homework assignments. Here is a course schedule. So we have only 6 weeks. It's a fairly compressed class. Things move very, very fast. So please be on your toes in case you have a difficulty with anything. Speak to me, contact me, whichever way you can, okay? Because if you let it go even just by 1 week, you could be left behind in ways that we won't be able to repair, okay? So you can see that in the week 1, we have quite a few modules to cover. So module 1 is fairly straightforward. It shouldn't take you more than a few hours to finish this. But module 2 and module 3 have several videos, and that's the first thing you have to do. Watch the videos, look at the notes and the slides if needed, and then work on the homework assignments before you can take a quiz. So the general schedule would be that pretty much at the end of every module, you'll have a homework due and you'll have a quiz due, a summative quiz. And every week you have on average 2 modules. As we go further along, you can see that in the week 4 and 5, since these modules are fairly large, we have only one of them in one of the weeks. From your previous classes, you should have some prerequisites. So basic trigonometry, you should be comfortable with sine laws, the cosine laws, be able to do basic trigonometry as well as do the geometry. Vector calculus, so if you have a vector function, how do you differentiate it? How do you integrate it? If you have two vectors, how do you add them? How do you subtract them? How do you take the dot products and cross products? Drawing the free body diagram, something that you must have learned in your engineering statics class. And if you have taken MEC 101 with me at Stony Brook, then you learned about free body diagrams in that class as well. But of course, 260 was a better place to learn how to draw free body diagrams. So in case some of these of your skills are lacking, or you think that you need to brush up, there are numerous videos available online as well as on YouTube. You can do a quick search. And if I have time, probably I will post some of my own videos as well. But they're not absolutely necessary. This kind of stuff is fairly popular, and people have created excellent videos and notes on these topics. Differential and integral calculus, how do you differentiate a function? How do you integrate a function? Change of variable, very important, because that's something we'll be doing quite a bit, especially in the second module when we discuss kinematics of particles. So things like, you have velocity given to you and you need to find out the acceleration of a particle over time. You need to differentiate the velocity, so that's when differentiation comes. If you're given, let's say, the velocity and you have to find the displacement, then you have to integrate it once to get the displacement function. Technologies and tools. Now, this is a very important section for an online class like ours. You do need to become very, very familiar and comfortable with all these tools and technologies that are mentioned over here, starting with the Piazza, which is going to be our online text-based forum for class discussion. You can even insert your equations. And if you find that it's a little bit tedious for you to insert equations using Piazza, what you can do is you can just write the entire thing down on a piece of paper, equations, or whatever your questions are, and you can take a picture of it with your cell phone camera and upload it as an image, and we can answer your questions over there. You have already received an email from me asking you to sign up for the Piazza. So as soon as you get that, please do that. This is one of the tasks that you have to perform as part of homework 1, our administrative homework. VoiceThread is another technology that we will experiment with. We probably won't use it a lot, but at least I want to see you guys because there may be no opportunity for me to actually see how you look and how you talk, as much as you probably want to know, how I look and how I talk. So VoiceThread is a place where you can go and basically provide a comment. I have already started a small thread under the getting started menu item, so please go ahead there and put in your own comments and introduce yourself. McGraw-Hill Connect is going to be our online learning platform for homework assignment as well as submission. It is absolutely needed, so you do need to buy a code for McGraw-Hill Connect, and you will find more information as to how you can get that under the required course textbook section. Respondus Lockdown Browser is a browser which basically requires you to have a webcam and a working computer with internet connection, so that you can take your quizzes and exams. Essentially, when you launch the browser and log into the Blackboard system, you will not be able to do anything else apart from taking the quiz and the exam during that period. So please go to this particular link, download this, and look at their help and support to make sure that you understand how this is going to work. Calculators, you're allowed to use calculators for the quizzes and exams, but only an approved NCEES calculator is allowed for the quiz and exams. Under the calculator policy section, you'll find which calculators are allowed for this class. You do need a microphone and webcam to participate in the VoiceThread discussion. You need the webcam absolutely for online exam and quiz proctoring. Scanner camera app for exams and for some of the quizzes, we will ask you to upload a picture converted to a PDF document of your cheat sheet as well as your scrap work. So you do need to have a scanner or a smartphone with a camera. And I would recommend that you download this app called Cam Scanner. It's a free app. I use it, and it's fairly good. And you can take pictures of multiple sheets of paper, and it'll create a nice PDF for you, which you can upload in the Blackboard. Adobe Acrobat Reader as well as Microsoft Word. These are free for all the registered students of Stony Brook University. Even if you are from elsewhere and are taking this class during the time when you registered over here to take this class, you can download some of these software titles. Then we have the computer and internet connection. Now, this is actually probably the most important technology or the tool that you need for this class. So you do need a reliable and working computer. It could be a laptop, it could be a desktop. I don't care about that. Mac would not work. A Mac as a hardware would work, but then you need to have Windows operating system on it, primarily because This particular lockdown browser is only for the Microsoft Windows. There is no Mac version of it. So you do need to have access to a Windows operating system, whether it's on a Mac hardware or on a PC hardware. So you do need a good computer, a reliable computer. Especially I would recommend that just before a quiz or exam, you should update your computer, because Microsoft Windows has this nasty habit of trying to install the update at the wrong time. So I don't know if you have experienced that, but it has happened with me and with some of my colleagues in the past. We're going to make a important presentation, and we boot up the machine and we find that Windows wants to update itself. The second most important thing is the internet connection. Now, I would strongly recommend that you have a solid internet connection at home or wherever you're going to be taking the quizzes and exams from. And I would say that you should probably have an Ethernet wired connection. If you don't have that, you have a Wi-Fi connection. Make sure that your Wi-Fi connection is really solid, because in the past, what has happened is that people have been using cheap Wi-Fi connections, or they go to Starbucks and they try to take their exams or quizzes over there, and it has simply not worked. Okay, so please make sure that your computer and internet connections are fairly robust. Otherwise, you will be in a situation where you're taking the exam and things are not working because you lost the connection of whatever reason, and we won't be able to do anything about that. Okay, so technology is something that you are entirely responsible for. So please make sure that you read this section very carefully and have everything needed for this online class. Communication, I will be using a Blackboard system to communicate with you. If you are registered for this class, then you already have a Stony Brook Net ID as well as an email account, and that's where all of my emails will go to. So for example, last night I sent a copy of the syllabus by email to everybody in the class, to all the 93 students, and everybody should have gotten that email. It will go to your Stony Brook email account. So if you're coming from another school, you're not in the habit of probably checking your Stony Brook account, please do that, because that's where everything will go. Of course, what you can do is you can log on to your Google Apps for Education account, and you can set it up forward from there, so that you get your emails in your account, whatever you use. I will also be posting most of the emails on the announcement page. So pretty much everything that goes out as an email is also posted as an announcement page. So just in case if you miss your email, you can always find it on Blackboard announcement page. And it's like one central location where you'll be able to see everything that I have said before. Google Calendar, you can go to this particular calendar and you can see what the calendar for the class would look like. If there are any changes, I'll make those changes in real time. But if you add this to your own calendar, then you will have access to all the major deadlines. Required course textbook. So you have a course textbook for this class, Engineering Dynamics, second edition by Gray, Costanza, and Pasha. This is from McGraw-Hill, and you also need the Connect Access for homework assignment as well as submission. Now, there are a couple of ways you can get the textbook as well as the Connect Access card. You don't need to buy a print version of the textbook. An ebook is fine. I think it may be even cheaper, and that's all mentioned in this particular section. But the couple of ways you can get the Connect Access card is, one is through the Amazon bookstore. If you, let's say, you're going to order from elsewhere and it'll take time for you to get the Connect Access code, there is a 2-week grace period that McGraw-Hill gives you, what they call a Connect Courtesy Access. You can use that until you receive your access card. Okay, but this is not something that you can really wait for, because we have homework submission, we have homework due in the very first week, we have the quizzes due in the very first week. So if you wait for 2 weeks and you don't have Connect Access, then you'll be in trouble. Okay, now once you have the code, you will have to link it from your Blackboard account. So remember, McGraw-Hill Connect is separate from the Blackboard, but the two can be connected. So if you go to the Blackboard and click on the McGraw-Hill tools, let me see if I can show it to you very quickly. So if you click on the McGraw-Hill tools over here, you will be able to connect it, by clicking on this link. Okay, so the course is going to be delivered mostly asynchronous, which means that it's not real time. You can watch the videos whenever it's convenient for you, but that also means that you have to impose a little bit of self-discipline on yourself, because you can watch it anytime could also mean that you never watch it. Okay, and if you don't watch the videos, you don't do the homework, you don't do the quizzes, then all hell will break loose in very, very soon. If you think that you may not be ready for the online class, or you think you are ready but you're not sure, please go to this particular website where you can take a short quiz. It's like a self-assessment quiz that will tell you basically whether you're ready to take an online class or not. Calculator policy, it will tell you exactly what sort of calculators are allowed for our class, and there are absolutely no exception to this policy because it is not something that I have set. Preferred method of contact with instructor through email, but post on Piazza if you have any technical questions. Grading, homework 15%, that's all online through Connector. Quizzes 15%, only the summative quizzes, not the formative ones. 35% for the 2 midterms, and the final exam is 35%. Now, at any point, you can actually compute your own grade and see where you stand vis-a-vis rest of the class. So if let's say mu is the average and sigma is 1 standard deviation, then mu plus sigma and beyond is B plus to A range. Okay, that's the grade. So it's all relative. So you can say that, I'm going to be doing the curving over here. Between the average and average plus 1 standard deviation, that's the range of C plus to B. Below average, but above average minus 1 standard deviation is C to C plus, and below that is D to F range. Homework will be assigned on Blackboard pretty much every week, twice, and when they are due will be posted on Blackboard, and they should be submitted by the due date. So your first task is to read the syllabus, watch the Blackboard overview video, watch this particular video that I'm recording right now, and then finish the tasks that have been assigned under the Getting Started menu item, which is to take the syllabus quiz, do the practice assignment, and introduce yourself on VoiceThread as well as on Piazza. These are the exam dates, midterm 1, midterm 2, and midterm and the final exam. These dates cannot be really changed because no dates would work out for everybody. Mode of conduct for exams and questions using logged in browser and a webcam. So, read this section very carefully, download this particular browser, install it, and then you can follow these steps to ensure that your browser as well as the webcam are set up properly. All right, some of the things that you should do during the exam, because the lockdown browser has a little bit of artificial intelligence built into it, so it tries to see where your face is and how much it is moving away. So if you leave your desk while taking an exam, lockdown browser is going to flag it. So please read all these and make sure that you will be in a place where the lighting is proper and you won't be moving too much. If you have to go to the bathroom, please go to the bathroom before the exam starts, because you won't be able to leave your desk during the exam or the quizzes. These are the sections that I won't be talking about, but I do want you guys to read them. Academic integrity statement, critical incident management, as well as DSS statement, course material copyright statement. So pretty much everything that's posted on Blackboard or elsewhere is copyrighted. So please don't take any of this material and post it anywhere else. Netiquette guidelines, please remember that we have many students who are non-native speaker of English, so you have to make allowance for their language skills. They may something, but they may not mean it. So please read these guidelines. They're very important. You just have to be civil when you are discussing things on Piazza or elsewhere. Then this is a section where you can read to get some technical help, especially getting technical help section basically gives you information about our email addresses for the technical problems like Help Me, as well as the Open SUNY desk. So during the exam, if you have a technical question, your computer is not working or something like that, you can call this number. This is the number where we expect somebody to be there during the exams and the quizzes. Of course, we'll be online as well as much as possible to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, now the syllabus could change. Not in its entirety, of course, but with some minor changes. And if that happens, I will let you know what has changed. Any questions about the syllabus, please head over to Piazza and post your questions.